Hello everyone and welcome to the Grove. My name is Samarev and today we begin a new series on the channel. During this series, I will take two mobs from Minecraft and mix them into one humanoid character design. In today's episode, I will be going over the kids of the Henrison family. The younger of the two kids is Melissa, and she is a hybrid between a bee and a bat. Originally this character was going to be called Betty, and that's why you can see the name on the original sketch. But after doing some research, I decided to switch the name Melissa, which has connotations to a beekeeping nymph in Greek mythology. I decided to keep her wings and her ears like a bat, since I think that would be a more interesting part of the character design. It was also because I knew the stripes were going to be a large part of the outfit, so it would just make sense to include that balance in the actual character design itself. Then with the actual outfit, I decided on a simple dress and skirt with a few of the stripes evenly placed out, and then the puffed sleeves were going to represent sort of the bee's wings. So because both creatures have wings, so I wanted them both to be represented in some way, and since the bee was going to be represented in the outfit, I decided to put the bee's wings in the outfit as well. Then I decided to have her to have leggings and shoes because I was unsure of what exactly skin tone I wanted her to have. I ended up going with a darker skin tone because I could, and because it would also make sense with her body being more bat-like, that she would just have the darker skin tone. I did keep the brown pants and shoes because then it alludes to how in the outfit of the bee, the bee's legs are brown. For the actual character herself, I imagine her being one of those optimistic people who are very passionate about helping others or just being and doing something. Just going out and adventuring or just making sure she's busy all the time. She'd probably have a hard time sitting still because of that, or maybe she wouldn't because she's calmer because she's part bat. I'm not entirely sure, but having a place to call home would be important to her, having that sort of hive or place to sleep. I don't know if she would sleep upside down. Maybe she would, or maybe that's just her being a gymnast of some sort. But she would at least have some sort of hive-like area. Maybe that's what she calls her room. She calls it her hive. I would like to imagine that her hive is just built into the side of a mountain, so it's actually like a cave, so it's like an equal split between being like a normal beehive, because there's like oak wood or there's honeycombs on the wall, but then at the same time it just opens into like this cavern or just is full of stone. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to have her wings to be opened or closed, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to have this whole family portrait. And I was worried that the wings, if they were open, that they would conflict with the family portrait since they would cover up details of other character designs. So I just ended up going with the closed option. For the puffs, they were quite interesting to do because I knew I had to put them on a separate layer so that I could use transparency. So then I also used like 3 separate layers for her design. I used the main line art design, and so that's mainly for the head, the main body, the wings, and so then I had that covered. I also had this elastic as on the main part, and so after cleaning that up, it would still be showed in full black. And then I decided to have the puffs on a separate layer for the transparency, as I've said, and I also had a third layer which had the black outline of the puffs, and you see me doing that right here where I'm just copying the different parts so that you could still see the detail of the puffs in the actual place, in the actual design, but you didn't have the actual color showing up, so there's still definition. And in a moment, you'll see me grab references from the actual pictures of the Minecraft mobs itself. I thought that would be the easiest way to make sure that they are consistent with Minecraft, and because I actually took them from Minecraft themselves, it actually made coloring very easy, other than me just using the bucket fill, which is already part of my style. I just had to pick the colors, and because they were already looking together really nicely because they were made for a game, then I knew that they would be together. You probably just saw that I took the blue color from the bee. I thought that would be another bee quality that I could have in the actual character design. Since bat eyes are just black, then adding the color would add another nice spot of color to accent the character design itself. And here you can see me putting in the wings and making sure that they are the right transparency so they look well. And we are almost done with Melissa Henrison, the youngest of the two siblings. And so, there you go. Melissa's older brother is named Ozzy. His full name is actually Ozzy, which means strength of the Lord. I wanted to have a good name that embodied strength, since I went into the character design knowing that it'd be some sort of adventurous and strong character. This is due to the fact he is a mix between a fox and an ocelot. Foxes are found in the taiga biomes, and the ocelots are obviously they're found in jungle biomes. So I knew that going into this that it would be some sort of hunter, or at least some sort of character who would be well versed in the world or being able to fight, and so that's what I wanted to include in his actual outfit and character design. So I looked at different Minecraft skins for inspiration to see sort of what clothes would a Minecraft character wear if they were an adventurer, and I used that as inspiration for the actual character's outfit. That's one of the reasons I ended up with a bag. A bag was a really easy decision as well, because I like adding satchels to my characters. But I also had this jacket, which I'll explain more about later, but it seemed to always just exist in the adventurer designs, so I decided to add one to his design as well. As for the bracers, which I honestly didn't expect to go into, but I always seem to find them on the adventurer skins that I'd reference, so I decided to add them. Maybe he uses it as part of his hunting because he uses the bow a lot, or maybe they're just a gift from his mom, or perhaps they're both. So I decided to keep him in the character design, and I decided to include this like embroidery on the bracers, because without it, it seemed a bit too plain. I also decided to give him have them have like the fingerless gloves sort of attached to the bracer, so maybe they're more like gloves, but I thought that would be an interesting part of the character design as well. I of course had to use the coloring of the fox for the tail, because that's one of the iconic pieces of the fox that I always think of. I was thinking of maybe doing a cat ear for him, and it is sort of like a cat ear, but it also sort of more like looks like the fox for the coloring, as you'll see later in the speed paint. So there is that. The actual hair, I wanted him to have a mullet or like some long hair, but I couldn't figure out how to do it in this specific instance. So while you can see me struggling to try and add it in sort of post line art, it just wasn't working well, and so I just decided to give up since I forgot about it. And as you can see here, just like I did with Melissa, I decided to draw the colors from the color palettes of the animals themselves so that it would work well. And I did like it, but during this step, I also realized that I forgot to add the part where his jacket was supposed to be a flannel, so it was going to be more like an ocelot. Because before this, oh, you have the fox ears, you have the fox tail. There wasn't a lot of things other than the coloring that would have made it look like he was part ocelot. So like I did with Melissa's outfit, where there was a lot of bee imagery, I decided to also have a decent amount of ocelot imagery in his, and so I decided to use a flannel. I decided to go with, I originally was going with just the yellow colors, but then I decided to also add in the brown, as you'll see later, And as you'll see right here, I added the more of the fox color. For his skin tone, the bright yellow was too saturated, and I knew that his father was going to be light-furred. The color of his father was going to be lighter, so I wanted to have him a lighter skin, so I ended up choosing this more of like a pale orange. And then as you can see here, I'm filling in the squares for the flannel, and I decided on adding the browns, so then it'd break up the yellow a bit more, and it didn't just look like stock yellow, and so it looks really well. It does. I do think that the addition of the flannel really did help, and for the white bandana, it's supposed to represent the white part of the fox's head, because I wanted to add that in too, and once I remembered, oh right, bandanas exist, I immediately added it to the character design. And so, I know it says Ozzy with 2 S's, but his name is spelled with 2 Z's, so I did finish it in this final image, and that's it for the video. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.